start by talking a little bit about who goes to college and where they go to college right now, and specifically to remind you all a little bit about the importance of community colleges, which you all are so plugged into in your communities already, and why they're really an incredibly important part of the conversation we're having right now about access to higher education. About 40% of undergraduates today attend community college. You can see the little breakdown here. The community college is in purple over there. You have four-year public schools right here in the yellow. And the main takeaway from this is that community colleges have always existed. They've always been a resource in communities. They've always helped people get skills and jobs. They've always helped people go back to school when they need to. But they're becoming increasingly a path to higher education in our communities as well. Students are entering their higher education experience at community college in higher numbers than ever. And that means that sometimes they're doing 2 years at a community college and moving on to a 4-year, to do their second 2 years at a 4-year school. I know Cazenovia just signed an agreement to make sure that that happens more seamlessly in their community. And that's really the type of thing that's going on across the country. Why does it matter to AUW? Because of the 7 million community college students across the country, about 4 million are women. And that is a higher percentage than the percentage of women who go to higher education, go into higher education overall relative to men. So about 56% of students who are enrolled in higher education are women in all forms of higher education. It's closer to 58 or 59% of community college students are women. So we're really talking about a population, a student population, that's really dominated by women. And what's so important about that for AUW is it means that issues that impact community colleges are overwhelmingly issues that impact women. And that's really something that I want you to take away from this conversation, is that when we talk about working with community colleges and understanding what programs look like at community colleges, understanding what classes look like at community colleges, understanding how we can work with them, we're really talking about working with women students in particular, because they're a huge part about what's going on at community colleges. In terms of issues that we know are impacting students at community colleges in particular, there are two that AAUW profiled in some research that we put out in 2013. We had a great report come out, and I hope some of you have looked at it last year, called Women in Community Colleges, Access to Success. And I passed around something that I hope will be a useful tool to you all, which is a one-pager that built on that report and focused specifically on community colleges in New York. I have more copies up here that we can make it to the back of the room if someone didn't get one. And I'll have extras afterwards too, so don't worry, you won't miss out on getting a copy. But what I want to highlight is that what we learned was that community colleges, while they are this great gateway to higher education, there are some best practices that we really want to work on spreading across the country to more community colleges that would make a huge impact on women. The first is to talk about how community colleges can help move women into STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and math. And AUW's research looked at a couple of different ways that community colleges in particular can break down those barriers, can make sure that women are making it through those programs and into STEM careers. We focused on some of the ways that the initial class that women take in community colleges about a STEM topic can be made more welcoming and focus on moving women through those programs. We also learned that lack of childcare is a huge barrier for women who are pursuing higher education, especially at community colleges. That's in part because they're working while they're going to school, and also because so many women enrolled in community colleges are not sort of your typical 18-year-old right out of home, but rather someone who is at some other point in their career or their lives with a family and juggling all of this at the same time. Now, I think if you look at your handout, I know it's always nice to have the information, we did find out, though, that New York is overperforming when it comes to making sure that there's childcare in community colleges. But it's a great thing to learn more about the community colleges in your area. 32 out of 36 institutions in New York that are considered community colleges offer on-campus childcare for students.
Wow.
That's huge. You all should give your community colleges a round of applause for doing that. Because nationally, it's fewer than half. It's around 48%. But this is a practice that we want to highlight, and it can be done successfully, which is what we're learning from places like New York, is that 32 out of 36 of our community colleges here are offering this, and it's making a difference. It means that women are able to be enrolled in these programs and persist in these programs. So thinking about our college students, our colleges, and the things that they may need, the resources they need, I wanted to spotlight community colleges to remind you all that while that might not have been my higher education experience, and it may have been some of yours, but not all of yours, judging by some of the conversations I've been having, it's so important to sort of cycle back and think about in your community, what are the community colleges doing, and what can AUW bring to the table about what they're doing. And what we can do is, especially using our unique research, talk about their STEM programs, talk about access to child care, and bring the perspective that issues that impact students at community colleges are really issues that impact women in